Imagine a military force, battle-hardened and armed with Lewis machine guns, led by a major of the Royal Australian Artillery. Now imagine their enemy, a 6-foot-tall, flightless bird with a penchant for wheat and a surprisingly sophisticated grasp of guerrilla tactics. This isn't a parody or a fever dream. It is the historical reality of the Great Emu War of 1932. To see how a bunch of birds outsmarted the army, we have to look at a mix of bad timing, farmers who were broke and desperate, and birds that were just trying to find their next meal. The trouble started after World War I. The Australian government gave land to soldiers who had come home from the war, encouraging them to start wheat farms. By 1932, these farmers were in a tough spot. The Great Depression had hit, and they were barely making enough money to survive. Then came the emus. About 20,000 of them arrived during their usual move across the country. They found the farmers' land and water, and to them, it looked like an all-you-can-eat buffet. They didn't just eat the crops, they broke fences, which let rabbits get in to finish off the rest. The war officially began in November 1932 under the command of Major G.P.W. Meredith. He arrived with 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition, expecting a swift and decisive victory. However, the military quickly discovered that emus were far more tactically proficient than they had anticipated. During the first major engagement, a flock of roughly 50 birds was spotted, but as soon as the soldiers moved into range, the emus split into small, disorganized groups that ran in every direction, rendering the heavy machine guns nearly useless. In a later attempt to turn the tide, Meredith orchestrated a massive ambush near a local dam, waiting for 1,000 emus to gather at point-blank range. Just as the soldiers opened fire, the gun jammed after only a dozen rounds. The birds scattered instantly, led by what the soldiers described as huge black sun-tanned leaders, who seemed to keep watch while the others ate. In a final, desperate act of innovation, the military mounted a machine gun onto the back of a truck. This, too, ended in farce. The terrain was so rugged that the gunner couldn't aim, and the driver was too busy trying to keep pace with the birds, which could sprint at nearly 50 kilometers per hour. By early December, the campaign had become a laughingstock. The international press was having a field day, with the story of the British Empire being outfoxed by a bird, and questions were being raised in the Australian Parliament about the cost of the operation. After a month of effort and nearly 10,000 rounds of ammunition expended, the official results were meager. While Meredith claimed nearly 1,000 kills, observers on the ground suggested the number was significantly lower, and the emu population remained largely intact. Recognizing that the military was losing both the physical battle and the battle for public perception, the government ordered a full withdrawal on December 10, 1932. Major Meredith and his men packed up their guns and left the wheat belt, leaving the farmers exactly where they started, watching helplessly as the emus continued their feast. The birds had survived a mechanized military assault and emerged as the undisputed victors of the Western Australian plains.